automation, we recommend Insight Asset Management. Every client that we've worked with has benefited from it, and a lot of people get confused the first time that they look at it. It can be intimidating, but once you understand how it works, it is easy to use. So when people see it over here, for example, they really pick up on the asset management side of it. And it's, oh great, CMDB. But it's a lot more than just a database of your laptops and devices. Insight really allows you to create relationships. So it tells you where your infrastructure lives, who the owners of it are, who to speak with if you have a problem, what people or teams, how the different pieces of your infrastructure relate to one another, so that if a system goes down, you can see what other systems are affected. Insight really provides you with that single source of truth. And having a single source of truth has always been critical to successful service desks, probably even more so now. And it's great because if you use Insight, that source of truth, which you probably already have, you also get the benefit of using Insight and then having it built in with Jira and being able to use some of the automations it provides. So Insight is a really good CMDB though. It allows you to get a view of your assets and how they relate to one another. So that, again, when a database goes down, you can see which applications it's referencing, which servers are affected, and you can import data from multiple sources. So there's CSV, SCCM, Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud infrastructure. If you manage your mobile devices with Jamf Pro, you can do that. You can pull in data from databases, a JSON file, LDAP, and you can create your own relationships between the different data, or you can use some of the out-of-the-box object schemas where these relationships have automatically been done for you. Now, the other thing around Insight is it also allows you to remove some of that quote-unquote expert knowledge held by that select few around which teams and which people own particular assets, where you're like, oh, who owns the server? And, the person who's worked here 10 years goes, oh, that's Michael over there. He owns that server. Follow up with him. Or Phyllis's approval is required for making changes to that specific application. Or even worse, if you have that information in a CSV file, it might have been forgotten about and left to stagnate, so that when you do find out who owns that particular affected server, well, the owner actually left the company 2 years ago. So Insight allows you to remove these silos of information and put it into a place where your agents are using this information and able to reference it into a tool really that your agents are using daily. So because the information is all in one place, you can use it to automatically seek approvals from owners, for example, when raising change requests. You might even set up automations to regularly audit your assets so that the owners can confirm the details are still correct. Another great feature of this is that it pulls in LDAP information. This means you can pull in a user's data onto a Jira ticket. So what is that person's contact details? Which cost center are they a part of? Who's their manager? And with this information, you can automatically seek manager approval for those requests that you've identified require it. So you can define your business logic, and then those requests that require manager approval will not be seen by the service desk again until the person's manager has approved it. How great is that? So finally, because Insight knows who you are, when a user, and what assets also a user has, when a user raises a request in the portal, you're able to provide a dynamic list that is filtered down to only those users' assets. Pretty cool. I'll actually show you what this will look like. So over here is my service desk portal, and I might have to create a change request. So when I do this, I'm just going to put in my information like I normally would. Monthly server maintenance, security patches, and I have this field over here called servers. This is actually an Insight field. It's looking in Insight for all of my objects that have been identified as servers. So these are the names of them, and just for ease of use for you guys, I've exposed over here also the name of the owners of these systems. So Jira, for example, over here, if I choose this, Catherine Wong is the one who is the owner of it. So let's continue. Change type normal is low risk, change reason maintenance, and we'll say start date today, end date tomorrow. Scroll down and click the create button. Now, because this server over here knows who the owner is, Catherine, my changes, because I've defined that already as my business process, need to be approved by Catherine. And it's automatically gone in and requesting her approval for my change request. Just take a sneak peek as to what an agent would see. If I click over here, I'll go get a view of that agent ticket. And we can see right away, server over here, my Insight object, my Jira server is owned by Catherine. Let's take another look. Now we need to set up VPN access to the office. Cool. All right, this is something we've said requires manager approval. I'm not asking for the manager here because I already know who it is. VPN access. I need to work from home next week. Unable to use public transportation. And I'm going to click the create button. Now let's take a look right away. It goes into, by default, my open status. I don't really have anything on here, but I have my automation rule in the back end that goes, oh, this is one of those requests that requires approval. Let me send it over for approval. And if I just refresh this page, what do we have? Waiting for approval. Who did it pick? Robin over here, because it knows Robin is Adam's manager. And if we go into our service desk view again, let's just confirm this. Here's my employee details, Adam, and we can see, you know, his department, his city, and also who his manager is. So it's gone in and sent the request automatically for him to do this. Again, service desk has not touched anything. It's there waiting for his approval, and once Robin approves it, then service desk will be able to see it. All right, let's take a look at our third option, which is I have a problem with my system. Now, Jira Service Desk, or this portal, knows who I am because I'm logged in. So when I say my laptop is not working, broken. All right, well, what asset are we talking about? Sometimes it would go, well, give me the your asset ID, for example. This is traditional. Look on your laptop and find that sticker and put it in here for me. Well, Insight knows what my assets are. So over here, I can see is my desktop, my laptop, my phone, and my tablet. If this was a different person, so instead of Adam, I'll just go Bryan over here. What assets does Bryan have? A different dynamic list right now based off who is the owner of these assets. And so it's showing me this server that I own and then my laptop over here. So some pretty great stuff in Insight. It's really one of those apps that help you get the most out of your service desk. And again, it can be daunting to get started with it, but if you are interested, there's a ton of online resources that you can reference. There's a really good knowledge base by the vendor. And if you do need more hands-on guidance, we do deliver an Insight training course.